And in the first fight of the night, you got Randy Costa taking on Guido Cannetti, and this really should be a layup for Randy Costa. Or at least this is kind of what the UFC is expecting it to be. Like, Randy Costa to come back, get a win, and then maybe make something happen after that, because he does have really good kickboxing, he does have good power on the feet. Guido Cannetti, he's almost 43 years old. I'm campaigning for Guido Cannetti to fight Hal Rosas Jr. I think that's a fight that makes sense. The 18-year-old, at the time that the fight's probably going to roll around, versus the, at the time, 43-year-old Guido Cannetti. That's like a 25-year age difference. I think that's a great fight. But we're here to talk about Costa versus Cannetti. Cannetti's pretty powerful, man, and he knocked out Chris Moutinho, which is something that Sean O'Malley couldn't do, and I thought that Chris Moutinho was actually going to win that fight, but in hindsight, maybe Chris Moutinho isn't quite UFC level, and if Randy Costa loses this one, man, then maybe in hindsight, he's not UFC level either. This is really a fight that I think that the UFC is trying to get Costa to win. They gave Cannetti Chris Moutinho to get Chris Moutinho a win in the UFC, you know what I mean? That's probably why they did that. Costa's going to be a little bit taller, he's got the range advantage, he's definitely got the striking advantage, he's a big kickboxer, he's got power in the hands as well. Cannetti could catch him, maybe later on in the fight, but in the first round, Costa's going to be pretty live. He had a great first round against Yanez, didn't look amazing against Kelly, to be fair, but looked incredible in the first round against Yanez, really brought it to him, and then knocked out Johnny Newsom, knocked out Boston Salmon, who we now know has a pretty bad chin, but it is what it is. Lost to Brandon Davis. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe Randy Costa was signed to the UFC a little bit too early on in his career, and I don't think that's a bad statement to make. This guy was really signed early on into his career. At the time, he was only 4-0, making his debut. I mean, all first round finishes over guys who are not the best records. Like, I don't know. I guess in hindsight, they should have given him more time to develop, but this should be a bounce back fight for Costa. He should get a KO. Cannetti, if he's going to win, he should get a KO himself, but Costa really should win this fight. I mean, I'd be quite surprised if he doesn't.